Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the August Dark and Light Q&A community stream. There we go. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to our third monthly community stream.
We like to call this a community day.
It's community day now.
Day.
Yes.
Yeah, we're all about community.
We're just verifying that everything is looking okay. Can we get people to verify that picture's looking good, we're looking good? You all look fantastic, as always.
Can you guys hear us just fine?
I just refreshed our stream on our end to make sure it looks okay. And looks like it's doing its thing right now.
Cool.
We got progress. Alright. Welcome! As always, I'm Erebus. To my right here is Dean, QA Mastermind. And of course, everyone knows Jimmy. Handsome. Face.
No, not
the face. The face of Dark and Light.
He's important somehow.
The man, the myth, the legend.
No.
Everything that we could possibly want in a human being.
Thank you, but nothing beats the Chancellor. He can ban me whenever he
Lord Chancellor.
Yeah.
Chancellor.
He gave you powers. He can take it away.
Yeah, it is a Dark and Light shirt defender. And no, you can't have one. We're actually trying to get more.
Yeah, we are. I've asked a couple people that are in charge of making these shirts to, make us some, so we can send it to our fans and all that. But we'll see what they say and if they can deliver on those needs.
Yes. So we have a schedule today. We're doing things a little bit more structured than we normally have done them in the past. Previous couple of months, we've just been sort of kicking it on the couch.
Right.
Answering questions from chat, hanging out with everybody, talking. This time we have a schedule, and we had everyone submit questions to us ahead of time, which, in case you were wondering, we have every single thing that has been posted to us. We got well over 50 different submissions for things that people wanted to ask.
And several duplicates of the 50.
Correct. There are some questions that people want to know, but first and foremost, we're not going to do those questions. We're going to talk about the DLC.
Right.
As we always start off, DLC, the big question, and I know that you guys think that we're not doing anything.
Yeah, I think
because we haven't shown anything.
Because we just sit here and wait for the next month to come.
Exactly. It's like, oh, it's the DLC's still coming. Don't you worry. But today I actually have some information that we're allowed to share. Not only some information, Luhan gave me the green light. Big man Luhan, to show you some stuff in game.
He's the gatekeeper of all this content.
Gatekeeper of all the content, Luhan, right there. More, I guess, like back there, but whatever.
Whatever. He's
here in spirit. So to kick things off, I'm gonna make our ugly faces go away, and boom, this is gonna go away. This is coming up. I will put this up. Boom. Here we go. So first and foremost, we have our first boss creature that we're showing you here right now. This is in-game footage.
Yep. Actually
what you're going to see. So, Jimmy, you want to talk a little bit about what's going on here right now? What is this exactly?
This is a dragon.
Okay, just a normal dragon, like an Infernus dragon or a Frost dragon?
Yeah, well, I won't tell you the details just because I'd love for players to, find this boss creature and, try to fight it or even tame it maybe.
Depending, excuse me.
Depending on what players want. I know it looks like it's flying, but and I told players in the game that we don't have flying creature. It's just floating. It's floating.
Correct.
More than flying. But this is a boss creature, and there are elites of this, and there are normal creatures of this. So the boss creature has his name, and like all boss creatures, they're ones that you can tame, like the mythical creatures from vanilla, and then boss creatures that you can't tame at all.
So, just so I can make sure I'm understanding correctly, all of the new creatures we're introducing in the Shard of Faith have 3 versions of themselves. The normal version, the elite version, and the boss version.
Yep.
Or maybe not all of them, but most of them,
yeah.
from what I understand.
And you can differentiate what they are just based on the looks.
So
they're not all going to look the same.
So this is the boss dragon that we have going right now, okay? Without giving away too much stuff.
Yeah.
That's floating and not flying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so next, You got to be able to see under here. Boom. All right, I'm going to talk about this one a little bit because this
is your favorite one.
This one kicked my butt a little bit when I was trying to get some good screenshots of it. This is the Chimera. Now, from myth and legend, people can usually understand what the Chimera is. It's got the tail of a serpent. It's got the head of a lion, and then the body is technically like what? It's lion-ish, but not exactly. Or is it like the head of a lion goat, and then it's mixed with like a cat feral type body?
Yeah. It's like that.
Okay. So obviously it has all the attacks that you would expect from a lion, as in biting your face and scratching you with paws. And I'm going to give this one away a little bit just because I have to. It shoots you too with its tail. Acid.
Yeah.
It makes the screen go green.
Yeah.
You realize that, right?
You remember what acid does to your armor?
It's not fun. It hurts. I'm pretty sure that everyone that's gone through Black Ice Peaks at one point or another has realized that you just go through that bad boy naked because you're just going to lose everything anyways.
That's right.
So this is, again, Chimera. Not giving away too much details between that, but know that there are definitely some cool interactions between all the different boss creatures that we have going.
Right. Even the normal creatures, like let's say the normal ones are all going to be tameable at one point or another, but they all have different unique features that players would enhance your gameplay pretty much.
We've gotten a lot of feedback from players that they want the creatures to feel different. Like there's a reason to tame each one.
Yeah, of course.
Is that something that you guys think is feedback we've really taken to heart with a lot of the development of these new creatures?
Yeah, we definitely take it to heart. I guess Dean would be a better one, like if we implemented it well enough.
Dean's been the one literally testing every single character, every single feature, every single everything.
Right.
No, and we definitely hear that feedback. There's going to be a unique reason why you want to tackle each of these bosses and each of these creatures, and not only that, tame them and have them in your collection.
Yeah.
And depending on what you're planning to do, whether it's to harvest or to fight, each creature might have a special ability that makes them a better choice for that.
Right. Remember, this is all in game. I literally took these from the secret vault that is where the Shard of Faith is kept. 16 guards, 4 keypads.
Right.
2 snipers that guard this room.
Yeah.
I was allowed clearance to come in and take these screenshots.
Well, at least they know that you guys are playing it instead of it just all just.
Yeah.
Smoking
mirrors.
We're
also giving you some ideas of the sort of landscape that you're going to be encountering.
Right.
Now, the map, I'm pretty sure from what Dean and I have experienced, is a lot bigger than I originally anticipated.
And I personally find it to be really impressive. What I personally was expecting from the DLC was a new environment. We have this big place in the Sacred Path, and the DLC, I was wondering what they'll bring, and it's definitely something new to the table, new environments, new landscapes, and something I think a lot of players can definitely look forward to.
Yeah, it feels like it's not just it's like the swamp area. It's its own definite environment. It's big enough to be more than just it's the wheat field, where we go farm magic shards.
Yeah. I think there will be point of interest where players can call out where hey, I'm gonna go to so and so, and they're like, oh, I know where you are, instead of I'm going to this place that has a lot of trees. Just meet me there.
Just go to the area. It definitely has a lot of character to it.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Yeah.
And speaking of character, let's go to our third one. Boom. Oh, jeez. Man, thank God I closed out everything before I did everything like that. Hold on, I just want to check, make sure. Is everything still coming through okay? Hi. Everything good? Hello? Not when it freezes. Steam stream is buff. It could be the quality. I don't know if there's quality options. I can try bringing down the quality for next time. Remember that if there's just any issues with viewing, because it's our first time doing it on Steam, we are going to be uploading the whole thing.
Right. And we'll try to, or can we upload it to Twitch? Probably.
I'll work on something. We'll get something figured out.
I mean, the reason why we want to try it on Steam is because some users don't want to stream on Twitch and want to see it on Steam. So we're just trying each medium and to see how it works.
See how things work out. Hopefully, we can get going on multiple different places at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're trying to make it so it's as convenient as possible. We know that there's a lot of people from forums, Steam forums, Twitter. And we sort of trying to integrate it all instead of having you have like 16 different profiles. It's like, oh, I comment on Steam forums. I'm here from Steam forums. Yeah. But again, it's stuff that we will continue to work on. But going from there, what do we got here? Jimmy. Dean, Jimmy, what do we have here?
I think Dean should explain this one because
what is it?
I hate this thing.
What is it? Break it down for me.
No, just to check. Is this the monarch crab?
Yes, this is the monarch crab.
Now, yes, just like the other slides you saw, this is the boss creature. And I actually wanted to ask you about the chimera. Did you just find the chimera?
No, I absolutely cheated and spawned that bad boy in.
So, just like to make things interesting, there's a new way in which you can find these creatures. Now, it's you don't other creatures in Dark and Light, you would kind of just have to explore the world. These creatures are tied to task, if you will.
Oh, so we've actually incorporated them more into like our questing system.
Exactly.
Interesting. Cool. So this would be like task out to find this thing at some point in time. And if I have heard correctly, people have been asking about different ways to utilize creatures. I've heard that you can kind of build on this guy.
That is correct.
In some ways.
Don't be hesitant.
Yeah, I'm feeding you that one so you can answer it. It's okay.
Yeah.
No,
Luhan, don't worry, it's fine.
And then you can tell by the special items. Again, without going into too much detail. The sheer size of the monarch crab and some other creatures that we may talk about later. There's a building element and
look at face too.
Yeah.
The red little eyes and the teeth. It's just always smiling at you. Look at this thing.
It's a little creepy, but I mean, I think for us is when we first introduced something like this, it was the mobile airship, right? You can build in it and kind of fly around. And we figured there was
a mobile fortress that everyone loves. That's not buggy at all. That works exactly how it's supposed to.
Yeah, it was such a successful launch.
It was a successful launch.
The best thing that we've ever done.
I know. And then we took a lot of learnings from it. Of course, and we know that we released something that was unready and like unpolished and all that. So we kind of switched gears, and I think putting something like that, but for creatures instead, I think it feels better. Whereas a mobile fortress just means like you're building a ship in a fantasy world kind of thing. It's steampunkish ish versus very mythical and even I guess fantasy, like where you're riding a crab around and you're living in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is what we've got for these creatures. I'm gonna have another thing for you tomorrow.
I know. I heard you had a video.
It's already done.
Oh, nice.
For tomorrow, though. Listen,
Great.
we showed you 3. We can get you a video tomorrow. All right. So we're going to.
I'll keep watching your Twitter.
Yeah.
To make sure.
Check for the Twitter. We're back. What's up? Hi everyone. I can close this out. Okay, we're back. We can hear you fine. Fantastic. It is massive. Tinfoil. It is huge.
Yeah.
So we have a couple more things that we want to talk about DLC wise. I got 5 more minutes allotted for this segment. All right, we got things into segments right now.
Yeah.
Talk about races a little bit, because Dean, you and I have actually been playing a lot recently.
Yeah.
And so we've gotten to experience the races somewhat. Now, I'm going to talk about what I've experienced so far, and then you can fill in the gaps if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So, races work as a giant quest line like we've talked about in the past. Now, there's a new interface that we have that opens up all the different potential quests that you can do, and you can tackle them in any order that you would want, which is really cool. So to start your quest chain, right? Is that right so far?
Yeah.
Am I good? You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
From what I've experienced and played.
Yeah.
I am going to say this is all subject to change. So I started to do the Satyr quest line. So I'm like, hey, this looks cool. Satyr quest line. You click the one that you want to do, and it goes, you got to prove yourself first. Go out and do this thing. I'm not going to tell you what to do. And then once you do that thing, you slowly get more and more quests from them, and you actually build reputation with them. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And from the reputation, you actually are able to unlock not only the ability to be one of the races, or all of them, you also get unique armor, structures, weapons, abilities, everything, based off of the amount of reputation that you have with them.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay. Now, how does it work going to being one of the different races?
It works through the concept of incarnation stones.
Incarnation stones.
Yes.
Okay.
So just you can approach when you start a quest line with, like, let's say the satyrs. You know, first you got to build a reputation, prove your worth, and then after you complete one quest, they'll allow you to craft more things and things that you cannot craft unless you build that reputation.
Right.
And then with that you get unique harvesting tools. You get unique weapons, armor, and within building that reputation, you're also given an incarnation stone.
Incarnation stone. Try saying that 14 times fast. Not going to happen anyway. Sorry, continue.
Yes, and incarnation stones are basically, it's now going to be done with a separate equipped slot in your inventory screen.
Okay.
So that's how it's managed, and if you, let's say you want to start a new quest line with a different race, which again has different abilities, different equipment, different armor, you can then equip their incarnation stone and take the form and take on their abilities.
That's really cool. And so basically, all of this can be done in sort of, I mean, there's probably some things you're going to want to do ahead of others. Based on what I've seen, I'm not sure if it's level locked at all yet.
It does require you to be at a certain level, in which case, like, yeah, I mean, some of the quests, it might, you know, you're going to face monsters and creatures on the way, and if you're, like, level 10, you'll get owned.
Yeah, we would like players to be prepared for that kind of stuff before hopping in to be like, I want to be a satyr right away.
Right, and we don't want people to have, like, their level 60 buddies just carrying them through everything.
And
okay, no, that's I think that's valid.
And it'll tell you, like, oh, you must be level 37 to continue.
Right.
And then, you know, you would want to be at least level 37. Higher, why not? Like, you know, you could be better prepared to take on the quest.
Right.
That's awesome. No, and we know that a lot of these things are important to you guys. I know people have asked like 14 times release date. Soon.
Yeah, soon.
I
think we're closer now to a date where we're comfortable at announcing.
Right.
But like I said, I think with us is right now at the point where we need to make sure that everyone is going to be okay with what we have, so that when we do release it, the players will be able to enjoy that content, as well.
We want to make sure it's a good release.
We also don't want to give a release date that we potentially have and then have to delay or miss it. When we say, like, it's going to be out on this day, we want it to be out on that day and not string you guys along.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like, oh, like, 3 more dates and then, like, I'll make you dinner, or whatever the PG reference is going to be there in that case.
I know. I know the forum makes fun of us for announcing dates and never hitting those dates. So
we're very much about the quality of what we're producing these days, making sure we hit dates that we want them. Excuse me, making sure we're hitting dates that we say, and not changing the dates 14 times after we've already told you it's going to be a specific date. So right now, I can say soon.
Yes.
I don't think.
Soon is a good word
to
describe.
Soon is a
DLC
good
will
word.
be.
And soon, everyone, we'll have a selected handful of players that will be able to, try it out.
Everything looks better on Defender. Can we not? Guys, don't encourage this, please. I have a question from Defender that literally is, how can I get into Machine XV's house faster next time?
we can skip to that.
We're just gonna skip that question completely, Defender. Okay. Yeah. So in case if you think that I'm not reading your questions, I read everything you post. I am all seeing. I am all knowing.
And we'll let you find that out later.
Yeah. All right. So that's all we got for the DLC right now.
So
we're moving into the question and answer segment.
Yes.
Of what we're going on. So these are the community question segment.
Yeah.
From everybody that has asked stuff and emailed it to me, Jimmy, and Dean.
Right. And if you are asking questions now on the chat, we won't be able to answer them.
Unfortunately, because we're trying to do this structured this time, we have everything set up. We have highlighted talking points. We are reading chat. That's why I see you. But we have things that we're going to talk about. Next time, we might do a more of a roundtable style. I'm going to ask for feedback on how everybody liked the format so that we can kind of figure what we're doing.
Yep.
So, first, console release plans. Now, I think we've talked about this every stream, and we're going to continue to talk about it.
Yep.
I think I can I answer this one?
Yeah, you can answer
mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
We have plans to do it, but no specific details.
Right.
We want to put it out on console.
Right.
It's something that we would like to still do.
Yeah, I think it would just be spreading our team too thin, you know.
Currently.
Yeah.
So, it's something we want to do, but no official details.
Yeah. So,
that's what we got for that. As soon as I get more details, or if anything comes up, you guys will be the first ones to know, because I'll be putting it on every single social media and responding to every single tweet asking about Xbox/PS4 with this answer.
Right.
Okay, current decay timers, and if they can be adjusted, we're sending it over to the producer dude. Yeah. Jimmy!
So I answered this in the forums a few times. I think players assume that the decay timer will always be set in stone, where it definitely isn't. We're always open to feedback, and we've made several adjustments so far based on players' feedback. So, and we definitely open to more changes, and whatever design team with the community can find a balance of what's good and what's not, and implement it.
I've read a lot of. I feel like I can't go to vacation. I had to spend X amount of time getting to stone. Why is it only, I think it's 5 days, 3 days.
Right.
It's pretty short. I mean, it all depends on how much time and effort you put into these things. I know how much time and effort everything gets put into, and we understand that there are a lot of people who feel like things could be longer.
Right.
Nothing that we're doing right now, even past the 1.0 build, is set in stone.
Right.
From what I understand.
Yeah.
We're always going to be constantly trying to change things and do different stuff depending on community feedback.
I also, sorry to interrupt. Sorry, I also hope with the DLC, with the new building, the way I guess limit the buildings in a certain area would help alleviate some of the issues of like pillaring and all that, hopefully.
Right.
But we set some stuff in motion that will help that players that are more casual and not, very hardcore, as in like they'll try to, one man that whole server by himself and be pretty much king.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we do hear you, and everything goes back to the development team.
Yeah.
If mods can be included in the use on official servers.
I already gave you the answer, so you can answer this one.
I forgot.
It's definitely something that's very possible. The only one big thing we need to fix is the tech mod. And once we have that ready to go, you would provide that competition.
Right.
Which you announced the last month, but we still haven't done.
We're waiting for the opportune moment for certain things to be done. They haven't been forgotten. The plan is still very much finished, written, ready to go. The details are set.
Right.
I have a grand plan. We're waiting for the right time.
Right. We do definitely want to host some of the mods that are currently in the Steamworks page that, the development team feels like, man, this is an awesome mod and we'd love to see it live. So, we'll get there, I think.
Yep. Dean, we need to hit you with something. Okay?
Let's go for it.
Expect additional combat animations and more melee revamp in the DLC or soon after. Now, I said we're done with DLC, but I do know that you've been the master of testing everything that we've included in the DLC. How is combat feeling recently?
I feel that, given that there's new weapons, now it's still a work in progress, but I can see that a lot of ideas from before are actually starting to get more implemented. And it's really all I can say right now. It's still a work in progress. We want to make sure, again, that it's fine-tuned, that it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, because there's one thing on just adding new animations, but there's another thing for it to actually have make gameplay sense.
Right.
So, as far as again, new items, new effects, the way that the weapons come in, I think I think players are gonna like it.
Mm-hmm.
One mechanic that's has been changed is taming. So
Yes.
I'm just gonna plant that out there. Like there's other things that have been changed and adjusted. So and I think players are gonna like how we approach this.
I know the biggest complaint about taming is like, I have to sit here for how long to get this guy?
Yep. And that's all we're going to say about that process for right now. But yes. And also I can say that just from the basic combat that I've been doing with, because I've been just actually leveling on the server all over again. So, basic level 1, bow, you're talking stone sword.
Yeah, we got to play it like the way other players will play it.
It feels smoother and a lot more satisfying than it has in the past. Hit reg seems really nice right now. It's definitely something that's improved since the beginning. And I got to refresh this real quick. Give me one sec, guys. Sorry. And to respond to that one person, I wear flip-flops, I think, 90% of the time. I don't wear flip-flops.
The 10% he's just barefoot.
I don't wear flip-flops when I go to the gym or very other small reasons. We're in California. Why wouldn't I wear flip-flops? It's easier. It's better on my feet. I don't have to worry about socks.
Sure.
Socks are annoying. Whatever. Anyways.
Gabe is the one that would wear socks and sandals at the same time.
Whoa! Calm down. Lord Chancellor flip-flop. Wow.
You would wear socks and sandals, though.
I will do whatever I feel is necessary for optimal comfort at the time and place that I'm at. And if that involves flip-flops and socks being worn at the same time, then so be it. Jerk.
It's wintertime.
You know what, Jimmy?
Caves. Give me the next question.
New caves, when, where they might be released, what's going on with them. Boom. Have fun with that one.
That's pretty easy. So
get them.
So caves won't be out the same time as the DLC, of course, because, like I said, I don't want to spread the team too thin on splitting work between DLC, caves, etc. So caves will be out after the DLC for sure. And the next one, which I mentioned in the last monthly community day, was the Earth Dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that we've concepted and kind of put our ideas together, what we want for bosses, what kind of new mechanic that we want to introduce, and gameplay features that we like to show off to players.
Right.
But again, those will be out after the DLC. And of course, there's going to be the DLC would have its own dungeon. The Earth Dungeon will be for the Arcos and not for the Shard. The Shard will have its own dungeons, and I think it will be the last 2 dungeons before we do something else.
So in other words, we're going. The Sacred Path. We are still updating Arcos. So even if you don't have the DLC, we are still updating and revamping the original vanilla game.
Right. Yes. The last 2 caves on the Shard will tie everything together. Why you've been doing these caves in the first place. So hopefully, expanding more on the lore and give players a reason why they want to go from the first dungeon all the way to the last one.
Right. And just like I've said previously on the forums, on posts, on everywhere, I think when we're talking about any sort of exploits, abuse, reporting, anything like that, that's all handled privately. These are obviously important issues that we want to talk to, and you can reach out to me personally if you want to. We can reach out to the support team. But just we don't talk about that stuff in a public setting, especially on a live stream.
Yeah,
every success begins with failure.
Yeah, because let's say for example, say Gabe's fiance is like, hey, Jimmy, I just got banned or this guy is like harassing me. Can you ban him? And then we just ban him. But like, all right, because I know your fiance or your girlfriend, significant other already, and that is not good practice, right? So. Right. For us, we need to be justice is blind, right? Whatever, if someone gives us somebody, but like, hey, this person's been doing this, we're not gonna be like, oh yeah, just remove him.
Yeah,
there's a process.
There's a process.
We want to verify that it's going on and see to it that we handle it fairly and from all angles. Make sure it's the right.
And I can't have Erebus do the investigation by himself because he's one man, trying to man different types of forums or social and all that, and be like, hey Erebus, can you make sure this one person is not harassing this other player out there, or ask, Dean is like, hey, can you stop testing and just can you make sure this person is doing what they're saying he's doing? It's like there's a different department, set to handle those kind of stuff, and for me to ask someone else on the development team to do that, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
In this sense.
We gotta. I understand that the support site doesn't work for some people, like Rain. I know it doesn't. Rain, we've talked about it a bunch of times. I am looking into it, and every time it doesn't work, you can just message me directly. I actually had somebody who reached out to me through the posting of today, and I forwarded it to the support team. So, again, if you don't have any issue, if you have issues, like find a way to let me know without giving away a bunch of details, and I will reach out to you if need be.
And if you have any concerns, you can always reach me on Discord because I'm there. I'll answer you if you find me at my keyboard.
Yeah. All right. So, getting back to the stuff that people send in, except for Defender because we're not answering any of his questions. Vendors. What's going on with vendors? Now, I've seen vendors. Have you seen vendors?
I've seen vendors.
You guys should be able to see vendors.
What do vendors do?
They take goods. They
take your money
and they exchange it for goods or services.
Okay, what do these vendors do that are different in the Shard of Faith that they aren't doing in Arcos?
So throughout the Shard, players are going to be killing a lot of beasts, monsters, whatever, right? And these beasts are going to sometimes be able to drop medallions.
Medallions?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, medallions that you can trade with these vendors to get special summoning stones.
Oh.
Special summoning stones.
Okay.
That can summon some of these boss creatures that we talked about.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, vendors aren't just something you sink a bunch of resources and gold and time into anymore. They actually have a little bit more of a place out in the world for some of the other mechanics that we have planned.
Right. And we hope...
Nice.
I know from feedbacks from players that, players wanted to be able to, let's say, run a dungeon, go to the vendor, be like, well, I didn't get the drop I wanted, go to the vendor, exchange some of these tokens for a piece that they need, for example.
So people can actually get the specific thing that they want, and it's not just only RNG based.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Moving on. Oh, I'm trying to find the next question. I'm sorry. Balancing. What are you working on balancing or that you know of currently?
I think balancing is a hard question to answer.
Balancing's always super hard to talk about.
And it's ongoing. There's at no point will we say, oh, we're done balancing.
I think even the decay time is a balance, right?
Yeah.
It's making sure the balance between hardcore, casual, what we feel it's good enough for the community, good enough for if we were players itself, and all that. So I think for combat there's much to be balanced. I hope that new players, when they come into our game, they feel a little bit more safe in the DLC.
Right.
They don't feel like Deathstalkers are killing them, mauling them everywhere.
Wait, listen. We need to talk about Deathstalkers because I think there's no reason that Deathstalkers shouldn't be right outside the gates of harassing level 1 player. I'm sorry, I'm done. And there's actually some posts recently about high level wolves being right outside the gates too.
Yeah.
And a big thing that we've done is like we said in the past stream, we are trying to use the DLC as a fresh canvas.
Right.
We're trying out adjustments and changes to base mechanics, logic and coding, from what I understand. I'm not very smart, though, so whatever that means. He just says the logic and the code. Sure, Jimmy.
Yeah, so there's the spawn manager now in the DLC that we had time to introduce, where we can set min and maximum levels of each creature that spawns in that area. So let's say you're level 20 and you're in an area where level 20 creatures should spawn.
Right.
So they're more easily to manage versus like if level 120 Deathstalker and you're level 1 and you're like, God, that's
this
it.
Is stupid.
Yeah.
So to basically go off that, like the question, like, we're working on a lot of adjustments and balancing and fixing bugs and things that aren't working as ideally as the community would want in the DLC. I know, at least from the starting area that I've gone to, I haven't run into anything that immediately wants to kill me as soon as I walk out the gates. How about you?
Yeah, I mean the creatures I see around the starting area are actually all, for the most part, neutral beasts.
Yeah.
Beasts that like
they won't aggro you as soon as you see them.
Like sheep, longhorns.
Yeah, like those. And if, if you're adventurous and like want to stray far away from the camp, of course you can feel free to, but you just know that the creatures that you're going to be encountering are going to be a lot more difficult and more punishing to you as a hero.
Right.
So.
And creature type, not creature level. Yeah, it's when we're saying like a level 20 creature, we're meaning like you as an adventurer at level 20 will encounter creatures that are more likely than not supposed to be something that can be handled at your level.
Yeah,
some will be harder, some will be easier.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, and you have to learn each beast and how they interact with you, and best practices on how to defend yourself from those creatures.
Right.
You're not gonna go to each creature and just either shoot an arrow or swing your sword and you always win. It's just each creature will have its own unique take on how you're gonna handle it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm gonna do it. I have to do it. Okay, so first we're going to do, with the DLC being the largest content boost in months, what can we expect moving forward?
Man, you guys are always wanting more.
Dude, they gobble up content, dude. They love content. Well, we did say that the caves are going to be post-DLC launch.
Yeah, the caves and, working on Arcos pretty much. Like, finishing off, I think Arcos has a lot of unexplored territories that we want to open up to players. I know that there were like magic walls that we place around the world that we hope to introduce you guys soon after the DLC. Like I know a lot of players were interested and asked me questions like, "Hey, what is this for? What are the plans for the future on these specific parts of the map?" And there are plans for them. It's just when we have time, we'll go back.
Godhead, I will ban you forever. I will take you down. Nobody hates Luhan. I'll do it. No. Trying to act like I won't. You better calm down, Godhand. Saying, jeez. Whew. Sorry, I got a little heated there for a second. Need to calm down. All right. I miss green auras.
I do too.
We know we want them back as well.
Yeah. I think with the new boss types and elite types and the differentiating of like how the creature looks like,
how they look,
I think we don't need the green auras personally now. After we introduce the DLC stuff and playing in it, and I'm like, well, now that you can differentiate, do we really need the green aura kind of thing?
I think it's one of those things that we're trying out different mechanics for certain things. And like we were saying, that we want to try things in the Shard of Faith and potentially bring them over to, Sacred Path. Right. We might not need auras, because we might have ways of more consistently getting you the results you want for, like, creature type.
Right.
And, like, if it's an elite or not. And, like,
right.
So you don't have to sit around for 16 hours, potentially.
Right. To see it change?
Potentially. These are just wild things, They're not even in the game at all. So, while it's something that we certainly are going to still look into, it's something that might not need to get adjusted in the future, from what I understand.
Right.
Potentially,
yeah. Because, like I said, those creatures you should be able to look at them and be like, yep, that's a boss. Yep, that's an elite. Yep, that's just a normal creature. Instead of like, does that have an aura, or is it just missing an aura?
Right. There'll be more distinguishing features.
Yeah.
Additional knowledge trees unlocked.
Of course.
I'm pretty sure we
when
covered that with the reputation and
when you say new abilities, new weapons unlock and all that, it's assumed that there will be new knowledge that players are going to be unlocking and using that unlock tree to craft those new items and new abilities and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the answer is yes. Not just new knowledge, but new knowledge trees are heading your way.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's no flyers in this right now.
Yeah.
So a couple of different people want to know what's going on with the no flyers thing. Now, that dragon was just floating, right?
Right.
And you encountered just about probably every creature here that's in the new DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How has it felt getting around the map without flyers?
I feel like the map was meant to be traversed on foot.
Okay.
Like I think the way it feels like I feel like in the previous game in the Sacred Path, once you have a flyer, it definitely just shrink the world. The shard, you said that the shard feels like a big world. Well, it's because it feels big because you have to traverse it. And now, with that in mind, that means that everything you traverse in the world, whether it's the forest or whatever other areas you'll soon find out about, it just feels bigger and it feels right.
Right.
Right. And there are creatures that would help you traverse this area a lot easier than others. For example, if there was areas where it's too mountainous, there would be specific creatures to help you go through these mountainous areas, and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Different building tiers, kind of covered that with the new structures.
Mm-hmm.
Covered the new weapons, everything like that. Man, we got through these a lot faster than I expected we would.
That's good. Maybe you
It's
should
really
read some
good.
of the ones that you didn't want to answer.
I want to answer all of them. I just didn't think we'd have time to answer all
We're
of
gonna
them.
just keep kicking defenders.
Yeah,
questions.
I'm not answering. Actually, I already folded and I already talked about a couple of defenders things.
Yeah. Kicking the can down the road here.
Yeah.
And you're like,
We're gonna actually hop into chat questions a little bit now. Actually, going back to things, how can I get into machines next house faster? Obviously, we talked a little bit with the Monarch Crab. There's going to be different ways to get into structures a bit.
Yeah, well, some of these creatures are going to be more powerful against structures versus another. So one of those creatures that you guys will be taming will hopefully be able to get to Machine's house a lot faster versus another. So he's going to have a house, of course, in the shard. So you have to find it,
Right.
of course. And because, you have to walk everywhere without a specific mount, it might be harder. That he's going to be in an area where, it's not going to be easy for just a normal player to find. So
Yes. Bottles. Bringing it up again.
Yeah.
Bottles. That is also one of the top questions here. Bottles.
yeah, bottles.
So we've talked about in the past about the stacking issue not being something that we don't want to fix. We don't agree with it being fixed. It's a tech issue.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of fixing old bottles, we're messing around with the idea of introducing new items that could potentially fix the issues.
Yeah, or even creatures that would help enhance, what bottle does,
Right.
but not actually using the bottle itself.
Yes. Again, please, this is a question that we can touch on, and we also know it's a really important issue. And again, we have different people and different teams that are working on different things. So we're talking about new stuff, and that doesn't mean that the older stuff isn't getting adjusted. For example, two big examples actually. One, single-player dark creature spawns.
Mm-hmm.
Huge issue.
Right.
I commented on a post a couple of days ago, and I know that you've actually experienced it because you're the one that you were able to repro it a few times with the dark creature spawns.
Mm-hmm.
That we had a potential fix logged, and then you tested it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just didn't work the way that we were hoping.
No.
So we're still looking at that. And then also, I personally seen the images, and you've seen the images, and you've gone down there about being able to get under the map.
Yep.
We know it's there. Something that we are absolutely working on. And again, I don't have additional details to tell you right now at this time, but we read every single thing. I mean, I know somebody was yelling at me to stop reading chat, but I read every comment. I read everything that comes up. I see everything.
Yeah.
If I don't touch on it immediately right away to your comment, it's either because we've already talked about it probably 5 or 6 minutes ago, which is fine if you weren't here 5 or 6 minutes ago. I don't want you to live your entire life on the internet.
Yeah.
Or it's something that I don't have additional details on at this time.
Yeah.
If I don't have additional details, I'm not just going to like say, well, any of us, me, Dean, Jimmy, we're not going to be like, oh, absolutely, it'll be fixed next Tuesday, and then next 2 day rolls around, like, oh, we actually had no idea that issue even existed. It's like, I'm not going to give you info that isn't legit.
Yeah.
So that's just the reason why. Okay? Moving on to chat questions. Because we have a little bit of time. I actually did filter this in. I thought it was going to be the last 10 minutes, but we're actually going to get the last 15.
Yeah, we're going it pretty quickly, so I think we can take more questions next time.
Yeah.
And
so remember, I will set up the link again, actually after feedback, but submit questions in so we have at least a basic idea. I'll set it up again.
Right.
This is sick.
I think it's a little bit easier than like kind of seeing chat that's so far away. I'm squinting my eyes.
Well, I
and
mean, you have terrible eyes.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Chancellor sees all. Maybe when you get on my level, you'll actually be able to see everything that's going on.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
But
no, plus like having a set list of questions like this, because someone can ask a question, then chat rolls through, and three other questions were asked before we could even finish the first one.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Grabbing one, I see it right now. Cross server, cross map transfers, transferring from Arcos to the Shard of Fate is still something that we want to have included.
Yep.
It's
a tech that's still being worked on.
Still tech that we're working on right now.
But it's just very buggy, of course, so we won't release it until we know that players won't lose player won't lose any info, either knowledge or like.
Wait, so you don't want to transfer your character and have it deleted?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Main concern is progression.
Yeah. Main concern is to maintain your progression of your character, because even me as a player, if that was to happen, I would just uninstall that game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming, Dean, you've leveled up enough times to understand how time-consuming it can be.
Right.
Yeah, I'm used to it by now. But
I mean, you're the one that are actually like banging things out, but
no, but exactly like that. As a video gamer myself, and if I were to lose anything like progression, like if I lost a knowledge tree, if my knowledge tree progression just disappeared, or if I lost levels for some reason, or if my character changed, like appearance-wise, that I didn't want to be, like anything that could go wrong with the transfer, I would hope that we can prevent.
Right. Yeah. The idea is, let's say you start playing the Shard, and you're like, all right, I want to play on Arcos now. So you would transfer all your knowledge from that character to another server, Arcos, that is hosting Arcos. You'd be playing with Arcos with all the knowledge you gained from the Shard, knowledge that specifically is for the Shard.
Right.
Won't progress until you go back into the Shard to level it up.
No flyers in the DLC. Yes, no flyers in the DLC.
Yes.
No flyers in the DLC, but that does not mean that certain tames aren't going to have ways of traversing land much faster than others that isn't a way of travel in current Arcos.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, and again, the Shard is built with that in mind, the fact that there's no flyers, so therefore the map is different.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, so like, I mean, in the Sacred Path in Arcos, like there's several places that can only be reached by flying there.
Yeah.
The Shard, like we built it from the ground up, knowing that you're not gonna have a wyvern or a dragon to take you there.
Yep.
And also a big thing about Arcos right now is, from my playing and your playing, is what's the first thing you do when you start to get taming and you get to the right level? You tame a rock, you tame a wyvern, like you get flying as fast as you possibly can. The first thing you do when you get into like a new house or something like that is like, here's your metal stuff and here's your bird. Like, go out and explore the map.
It's very advantageous to fly around in Arcos because you get materials faster. You can get from one place to another really quick, so you don't have to, go through death stalkers and wolves and.
You don't have to experience the map as much. And while flying is a great thing, I will never say that flying is bad.
No, yeah, and some of my people might say, "Oh, this was like taking a step backwards. Like we're taking away something from the players and throwing them into a new map." But the reality is that it's it's a different feel. Not saying it's a backwards feel, but it's a it's not like we're taking you like let's say you start a new character and you have flying amounts. It's not like we're just taking the flying amounts, but now try to play it without
flying. Yeah,
no, it's a different feel. It's a different map.
We're incorporating, like, we understand how convenient it is to travel with flyers, and we're trying to give you the convenience in just a different package and experience.
Right.
So don't think that it's going to take a million years to get anywhere or do anything these days.
Right.
It's just a different way of exploring.
Right.
And also a big thing about the Shard of Faith, which I'm going to spoil, is that I've noticed there's a lot more y-axis elevation. Y-axis, like XY. Like there's a lot more ups and downs and hills and slopes and things like that versus Arcos, which was probably a little bit more flat in some areas. Like, obviously had hills and mountains, like, don't get it twisted. I'm just saying, overall, everything about the Shard of Faith is definitely, like...
There's a lot of depth to the Shard. Like, the verticality of the map.
Verticality, holy smokes, that was the word I was thinking of. Instead, I just said verticality, I like this. That's my, like, hand symbol for verticality.
Downs.
Downs. But, there's a lot of verticality to the map, so players, you know... There will be places that players going to be underground, and there's going to be places where players going to be in mountainous areas where, you know, they're pretty much above sea level.
Yeah.
But, you know, that it will change the way players play based on the environment they're in. But you know, like I said, you have tames, you have weapons and equipment that are made for those type of environments. So you don't have to worry that because you're here now you're in a disadvantage.
Let's just say there's going to be different ways of traversing.
We're not going to say too much, Rain, don't worry. And actually, holy smokes, the chat wasn't auto-scrolling this whole time. I thought that things were like just bugged or frozen or something like that. And then I like scrolled, I'm like, oh my gosh, we've missed all these comments.
Oh, I see.
I'm not showing more ankle, we'll get banned. And then we'll never be able to stream again. It's strictly against Steam's policy about anything like that.
Right.
And Remo, if you want to talk to me about exploits personally, more than happy to. We'll not talk about them on stream.
Yeah.
We'll not talk about them live. Happy to talk about it in private.
I think, yeah, there's a place for those specifically.
Yep. So we're going to get a couple more things.
Swimming lanes, what is that?
Swimming tames.
Oh, swimming tames. Oh, yeah.
Swimming tames. Well, I mean...
Sorry, my eyes.
We got the crab. I don't know about that.
Well, there are creatures that are going to utilize water, I guess, in that sense. They're more aquatic.
More aquatic, yeah. We can talk about wiped again. Arco's getting wiped. We're probably going to have like 10 questions that we answer every single stream, which is probably not a bad thing. We should just like keep them documented. Be like, first and foremost, going over all of these different things.
You need to pin that thread and be like, wipes,
bottles.
I know.
Cave, decay timers.
Yeah, like those,
cave timers.
Those needs to be like the top 10 always ask questions, and we just need to have an answer. Just like, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I can't say the name. I'm not allowed to. He'll win the bet if I do it. Anyways, there's someone in here. If I say their name, they win the bet, and I don't know what they win or what they lose, so it's not going to happen. We don't have any set plans of what we're doing to Arcos right now. Those servers. Don't know if they're getting wiped. Don't know if they're going to get legacy-fied and no new content. We're not sure yet. Right. But we do know it's a hot topic, and we're not going to just randomly dump a server wipe on you one day. Or we're not going to just be like, nope, these are all locked now. You can do nothing for it. Like, this will be a discussion, and we'll have like a long time before we say something like that.
Like I said previously, legacy servers can be a thing, but like I said, if we introduce things that changes the way the logic works for the game to give it better performance, you know, just better optimization, and you won't be able to get that because you're on a legacy server, so you're not going to be experiencing the same thing as someone else has that's on a newer server with, you know, latest logic, latest optimization. So I mean, there's always that problem, right? Yes, sure, we can have those legacy servers. I don't think that's a hard thing to do. Just players who will have to know that if they're on those legacy servers, they will experience issues that we won't be able to resolve because they're on a legacy server.
So there's different ways we can potentially do it. We'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
Last two questions that I'm going to see here are, one is going to be build system mechanics, any work, new options available at the DLC. There is going to be a lot of new structures to build. We haven't implemented any of the great different mechanics that our modding community have created yet.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that we're not going to, doesn't mean we're going to, but we do see a lot of the really, really awesome, amazing stuff that the modding community has created. There's been a lot of good ideas. There's been a lot of interesting new technology developed. And we're not opposed to potentially modifying things in the future. But as of right now, building mechanics haven't changed too much, correct?
Yeah, not too much. Just because we don't want to like frustrate players too much because we change too much of how building works that, you know, it will just kind of put players at a restart, right? It's like, well, how am I going to build now? It's got to learn everything again. It's like, yeah, I already know how to build a house, but now you took that all away and, you know, I'm going through this fresh new world and I have nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Last question. Base races. Any changes to them? Any things that we have planned to make sure that they're not overshadowed? From what I understand, not right now.
Not right now.
Not right now. Depending on how things go with the new races, it's obviously something that we can talk about, look into more, things like that. So I wouldn't say it's out of the realm of possibility, especially since we've come up with all these cool new things, and we're sort of going that more questy, RPG-ish type of route,
Right.
which, I mean, I'm sure you've noticed in the gameplay as well, because
Yes.
you've been testing every single quest.
As much as I can.
Without any localization. What? Huh? So, it's definitely a possibility, but no plans right now, just being honest. And those are the last two we're going to do, because we have 2 minutes to say goodbye to everybody.
I know. I wish this could
It's
always
so
be
sad.
like, I know.
We're always taken away from each other too soon. I didn't get to show off enough ankle for people to be truly satisfied with the stream. Just
yeah, next time
shame.
we'll all wear sandals, right? Or you wear shoes and we wear sandals?
Yeah. I'm going to wear, like, up to my knee boots that are just going to say God Erebus going down each one of them. I'm going to have my feet up like this the entire
Right.
time.
That sounds good.
Yeah. All right, so, Dean, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Dean, the man, the myth, the legend. The best head of hair in the office, the one that tests everything.
Yeah.
Doesn't burn in the sun. Actually saved 4 kittens from a burning tree one time. Seen it with my both eyes. This is the man testing your game.
Burning chimeras.
Burning chimeras. Jimmy,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely stellar personality. Would rather look at you blindfolded. I'm just kidding.
Just
wow.
the personality.
Absolutely demolished.
Which is what matters.
He's got a beautiful personality, that's for sure. Thank you so much for all of your insight, as always.
Thank you for hosting this, like always, and, you know, keeping up with the community and making sure they stay content. I wouldn't say happy because, you know, there's always those that hate you, but also those that respect you. I wouldn't say love because
I don't think anyone could love me.
It takes a certain lack of happiness to get the good feedback that our community has been giving us.
I'm pretty sure that my mom hates me.
It's okay. We can talk about that another time.
Yeah.
Offline.
Yeah.
Offline.
Yeah, privately.
So again, thank you so much. I know that there's a couple of people that said they're going to put transcripts out. As long as it's recorded correctly to this PC, I will have it up within a day or so on other social media platforms, which I will let everyone know. And that's about it. 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone. See
Hold
you
on.
guys next month.
Love you.
Go back to testing.
Time to
the
go back
game.
to testing. Mitch!